My God. All kinds of information. Yeah, see. And forgive me if I'm little slow today. I am recovering from a much too rugged hike of 6 hours.
Oh,
Ooh. Everything hurts. But, it was one of those things. Out of town company.
but you did it. You did it. So,
I I did it and I need like way too much caffeine to wake up from that. Okay, vale, bien. Uh, quick reminder because Scottsdale always asks me to remind people. Today is first day of registration for all the classes that will start in January. And I believe January 6th, which is a Monday, is the first sign up day. If you are outside of Scottsdale city limits, first day of sign up is not today. It is like 2 days from now.
I,
Why?
I
Why
think
that
it's
gap?
I think it's tomorrow. Not sure
Well,
though.
usually it's supposed to be right the next day on Tuesday. Monday is Scottsdale sign up
yeah.
and start and Tuesday. But I
No, ma-
try if you're outside, try. Maybe it'll work anyway. Maybe they sent me a wrong date, but they sent it to me
Marilyn,
twice, so I think they
when
meant it.
does this session end? When does
This
this session end?
session,
2 weeks?
the last
The
class we have
16th.
slated is December 16th.
Okay, good. All right.
And they assume people are just too busy the
Too
week
busy.
before Christmas. It's
You're
yeah,
right.
company and things to do and all that kind of
Good.
stuff. So, okay. Bien. Vale. So now everybody knows about that. We are going to start with any questions on our video, and then we're going to see if you've got any leftover questions on the whole command issue. And after that, we're going to go into, there was a request to talk about commands. So, or not, I'm sorry, not commands.
Definitive.
There was a request to talk about reflexives. And we're going to
Reflect.
talk about reflexives, but in kind of an unexpected, like the expected way and the unexpected way, if that makes
Okay.
sense. Ok, vale, bien. Empecemos. Let's start. Empecemos. Quiero saber. I want to know. I want to know if you have any questions about the video that Agustina made about um, uh, what it costs typical day
hmm.
I, I
touring
have a question, Sam.
in Japan. Okay.
When when was this video made? In 2010?
Oh, como
The prices are too cheap.
en la última semana, like it probably in one week or max 2 weeks ago.
Two
I
weeks
I
ago.
agree with Sam.
The
That was
prices are too cheap.
absurd pricing
They're
for
very pricey.
Uh,
Hotel for
You
$50?
have
No way.
I
you have
do
to
not know
remember.
that, and keep in
It's
mind she was not
expensive.
in Tokyo.
Yeah, but big deal.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
well,
young
perhaps,
people are
quizás.
young people are very clever in finding inexpensive things. They're,
Yeah.
and we settle as older people, not putting the time into research, and they stay places we wouldn't stay.
Well, okay, you may be right.
Hmm.
She also, something to know, because she travels so much, she is a deal seeker.
Yeah,
She
Okay.
is the type of person who can travel
on
oh,
a shoestring.
on a shoestring. Gracias, sí, on a
Do you have a
shoestring.
phone number? Maybe we could ask her to call.
Ah, quizás sí.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Bueno, a ver, ¿hay alguna pregunta? And you'll notice she had a little bit of past in there. So a couple of, I don't know if that kind of stuck in your brain as, uh-oh, what was that term? A lot of times she had some terms where very small snippets of past came up, like, it cost in the past instead of it costs right now. So when you heard her say phrases like costó, costó, not costo, costó, um, that puts the verb costar, to cost, into the past tense. And it says that something cost a certain a certain amount of money. And in English, we don't even say costed. It cost. Yeah. So, okay. Vale. ¿Alguna pregunta? Any question on the video? She had a couple
No,
of food items
yeah.
that were just odd vocabulary that.
Yeah, I just had a couple of vocabulary things, and I didn't take the time to look it up, but I actually was pleased that I knew most of what she was talking about, or at least I felt like I did. I'd never heard of cargar naphtha, but that must mean gasoline.
Gasolina, petróleo.
I don't know
She,
what cargar naphtha means then.
yeah,
Cargar
Oh,
naphtha.
cargar okay, cargar can mean to cargar, to like load something up.
Oh, maybe
she
it's
was,
to
So
pump the
like
gas.
loading up something on your card, like a charge card, or loading up physically stuff into a car.
She was filling up the
she,
gas
she,
tank.
Yeah, she
she
was filling
was,
up her gas tank when she used
There
that
you go.
term.
Cargar. That's
Yep.
it. Yeah. So she was
and,
filling up. Yeah.
and
When you're loading
apparently,
something in.
and apparently the word naphtha, which is an oil cut that
Hmm.
is used to make gasoline, apparently it works as gasoline in her use of Spanish.
Okay. Vale. Bien. Bien. Gracias. Bien. Muy bien. Bueno. Otra
Yeah,
pregunta. Any other
she had a
question on?
she had a different word for a dumpling. Her dumpling translation was
Uh,
different.
yes. So food words are one of the most variable, most changeable kinds of sets of words in the language, partially because you have so many different countries who have so many different kinds of foods, but
Right.
also she's talking about foods in a place that's outside of the Spanish-speaking world. So how much she's taking things from being a porteña, Buenos Aires native, to whether it's just a word she heard on the street there.
Okay.
No sé, no lo sé. Yeah, that I don't know. With food words, a lot of times you simply have to really go with the flow because, and you'll notice, I think for the fried corn bit snacks, she called those choclo,
Right.
which is a very Argentine term for something made out of corn. And you wouldn't hear choclo in Mexico, maíz. Yeah. Or elote. Yeah, even there, corn gets lots of variation, elote and that. Okay, bien. Otra pregunta. Any other question on that? ¿Sí o no? ¿No? Nada? Okay. Fácil de entender. Easy to understand, though. ¿Sí? So because of the visual element of her showing things as she talked about it and popping up some little picture icons to help you along the way, that was the purpose there. Kind of a nice review of some really big honker numbers.
Yep.
Yeah, because, yen is, you're always going to get things in the thousands, and we're kind of not accustomed to maybe that, but, it's the way that goes. Okay. Vale. Bueno. I want to just make sure I tie up any loose ends you might have with commands before I move on to the new topic that was requested for this session, which is reflexive. On commands, is there any leftover kind of question, little oddball thing that you need a reminder of, or you need a little more clarification on? Because commands really, I think the big takeaway with commands is that people will say them a lot, but they're kind of in passing. And you know that mira or mire or miren are all some kind of a form of look at that, yeah. But to just notice for those, see? Bien. Okay. Vale. Bueno. Adelante. Adelante. Moving on up, moving on up. Okay, I'm going to show you something here. We're going to kind of go with the flow on this because I'm not sure exactly what tack people may need me to take on this, but I have a couple of ideas of some ways we can practice and some ideas to remind people of. We always need to, is always helpful to review certain issues, sometimes frequently, because, it's hard to predict when you're going to hear a certain kind of structure. And one of the structures that is so frequent is the idea of using verbs that are reflexive. And remember, reflexives, you can always tell that a verb is reflexive because it's got the infinitive, and hanging on to the end of it is that word say. Yeah. It's got say as kind of a hangnail hanging on to the end of the verb. So if you look up the base verb, the infinitive form of the verb, it'll always have a se tagged on to the end. And that means it's a reflexive verb. Um, there are textbook ways that reflexives are explained. Okay. And then there are ways that reflexives pop up in many, many instances that you might not expect. So we're going to kind of hope to tie those both together. And we're going to start with the idea of what's the textbook use of reflexives. Okay. So the textbook use of a reflexive is that the person doing the action, the subject, the person doing the action, also receives the action. That's why it is reflexive. It bounces, the action you do bounces back to you. Okay. And we kind of have a similar idea in English, but it's not a very satisfactory kind of relationship with that idea of doing something to yourself. Even though in English you may not always include the idea of to yourself. I mean, you just say comb your hair, brush your teeth. Yeah, wake up. You don't think in English, wake myself up, but that's the way that works. Yeah, see? So in Spanish, certain kinds of activities are activities that have a se tagged on the end. And when that happens, it means the person doing the action also receives the benefit of, or the rebound of what that action is. So verbs that you first learn as reflexive are things like levantarse. Levantar by itself is to lift, or like, yeah, lift up, push something up, yeah? Levantar, think of levitate, okay? Something rises when it levitates. But levantarse is to get up. Now, in English, we don't typically, this is why it's not satisfactory to me personally. Nobody in English says, get yourself up. Or if they do, it's sort of a, hey, get yourself up. Yeah, maybe. Get your fanny off that chair. Okay, maybe. But, most people just say get up out of bed, get up out of the chair, get up out of the hammock, wherever it is you're reclining or laying down. So, levantarse means you lift your own whole body up. Okay, lavarse is to wash oneself. But in English, we don't normally say wash yourself. We say wash your face, wash your hands. And we just mentioned the part of the body that you're cleaning up, right? Lavarse, to wash, and I like to say up, but to wash to wash oneself typically. This is the way they, my punctuation things get all weird when I change my keyboards. To wash oneself, to wash a part of your body, as opposed to washing your car, or washing your washing any kind of item, right? Not an item, but a part of one's body. Uh, Ponerse, and then the opposite, which is quitarse. Ponerse, quitarse. Ponerse, to put something on oneself. And generally, con ropa. We use these with clothing words, but you're going to see it morph very, very soon into something else that isn't about clothing. But when you hear clothing item used together with, in connection with ponerse, it means to put that item on yourself. Usually, la ropa, ¿sí? Me pongo un suéter, me pongo los audífonos. I put on my headset. I'm putting on my hair. We even use this for putting, besides clothing, things like sunscreen. Me pongo la crema solar, la crema protectiva, la crema de sol. Okay, so putting on things like perfumes, lotions, anything like that is still putting something on your body, on yourself, in addition to clothing. So ponerse, and then the opposite is taking off clothing, like taking off your shoes when you come in the house, if that's what you do. Quitarse, right? Meaning you're taking it off of your body. Okay, vale. Despertarse, to wake oneself up, to wake up by yourself. Yeah, to wake up, despertarse. It is different when you use despertar without the se. Then it means that somebody is waking up somebody else. Or maybe your dogs wake you up, or your kitty cats wake you up, or maybe your grandkids burst into the room and wake you up. Okay, if you just don't wake up on your own, it is despertar. If you wake up on your own, by yourself, of your own volition, of your own natural body clock, it is despertarse. It is reflexive. See? Y ducharse. And ducharse, you never really see as just duchar. You always see that as reflexive. Yeah, you shower yourself. So this is the classic thing of reflexive verbs, and there are a ton of them. A lot of them have to do with daily routines, like brushing your teeth, combing your hair, putting on makeup if you're a lady, all that sort of thing. ¿Hay alguna pregunta? Is there any question about how, about anything about like the traditional kinds of reflexive verbs? Not so much, ¿no? Bien. Ok. Vale, perfecto. So the thing to remember, of course, also with this is that the pronoun matches the verb form. Okay, so when we use these verbs, most of the time we can and should and do drop words like yo, tú. Yeah, yo, tú, él, ella, ellos, ellas, nosotros. Most of the time we drop those subject pronouns, but we can't drop a reflexive pronoun, because if you drop the pronoun, the meaning of the verb takes a shift in meaning. Yeah. So unlike, you'll hardly ever hear somebody say yo estoy or yo pongo. It'll just be pongo. Okay. Pongo, I put something somewhere, but that reflexive pronoun has to be there and it matches up. So the pronoun matches a verb means me is matched up with a yo type verb, right? The reflexive pronoun te will match up with a tu type verb. And I can't skip the te, I can't skip the me. A nos has to match up with a nosotros type verb. And then the kind of oddball of the group, and this word for sure is an oddball overall, so I'm going to put it in caps. It is an oddball word because it shifts in meaning a lot of times. But if it's used as a reflexive, the se will match up with anything that is third person. So it is both, the se pronoun is used both with singular and plural verbs. Okay. So, se pone, he puts something on, she puts something on. Se ponen, they put something on. Okay. There's no difference in third person when you're talking about one person, not yourself, or a group of people, multiple group of people. See? So we have to have a pronoun. We cannot skip the pronoun with reflexives. And there you go. So one thing to remember, because we just came off of commands. In a command with a reflexive, if it's a go do it command, we must attach the pronoun. A go do it command, do attach. So if you're talking in normal present tense, of course, the pronoun comes in front of the verb. But if you use this as part of a command, that pronoun has to get slapped on to the back end. If it's a yes, go do it, that means an affirmative pronoun, an affirmative command. So, por ejemplo, ponte los zapatos. Put on your
On
shoes.
your shoes.
Yeah. So that's a command, right? Te pones los zapatos just means that that activity is happening and you're the person who's doing it. Okay. But if it becomes a command like mom saying to a kid, put your shoes on, yeah, ponte los zapatos, we have to take that te and slap it onto the end, right? Bien. A negative command, it comes back up in front, just like a present tense uh, um, uh, format would be. So, no te pongas la chaqueta. Don't put on your jacket. Hace mucho calor. No te pongas la chaqueta. It's really warm. Don't put on a jacket. No te pongas la chaqueta. Bien? So, with commands, you have to watch reflexives. A go do it command, you slap the pronoun on the end. A don't do it command, it's got to come back in front of the verb, just like the present tense talking about an activity does. Okay. So you'll hear things like that. Or, oh, por ejemplo, wake up, wake up. Despiértate, despiértate, wake up, despiértate, right? If you say to a bunch of kids, you got like 2, 3 kids visiting the family for the holidays, right? And you walk into the room, hey kids, wake up, yeah? It's uh, despiértense, despiértense. Hey, you guys, wake up, despiértense. So those are commands that mean wake up. See, wake up. Bien. So you will hear commands with reflexives, from time to time. Sit down at the table for a holiday meal, right? To one person, siéntate, sit down, sit yourself down, siéntate, see. If you say to everybody in the group, hey, everybody sit down, it's siéntense, sit down. But it's to the group, yeah? So you will frequently hear these reflexives with commands as too, so that we can tie that together. And that's a common everyday thing. And this is not the kind of command that is seen as being pushy or in your face. It's just the normal, what you tell everybody in the family to do. Hey, meal's ready. Siéntense, por favor. Everybody sit down, please, because the meal's ready. Okay? So these are traditional kinds of reflexives. The person does the action, the action of that verb reflects back on or comes back to or is done upon oneself, the same person, not to somebody else. Okay? But that is not always the case with all reflexives. And reflexives are something that sometimes you have to go with the flow. And I want to start off with this particular reflexive, which is super, super, super common. And you already know ponerse means to put clothing on. But sometimes you hear ponerse used with something that has nothing to do with clothing. Sometimes it's used with a descriptive type word, right? And then you get very confused. You say, well, wait a minute, I thought ponerse was to put something on. Well, sometimes not. Here is one of the biggest, I don't want to say that it's an exception. It's a different use of ponerse. It's a use of a ponerse with a description. And that means the word that follows it is going to be what we call an adjective. Yeah, an adjective is a describing word. And one of the biggest describing words, people learn colors first, right? People learn colors when they learn descriptive words in Spanish, typically very, very early in that language process. And rojo, everybody knows that rojo means red. Okay, but ponerse rojo, put yourself red. To put on red, does that mean you're wearing red? No, well, it does. It means you are wearing it
Rouge.
subcutaneously. Yes. See, I can't speak very well because I hiked 6.5 miles on an unmarked rocky trail yesterday. Okay. Ponerse rojo means something different. Ponerse rojo means more like to get. And when do you get red? You get red when you,
Sunbathe.
well, that too, yeah.
Or
That
when
would
you're
be,
embarrassed,
sí,
right?
sí, that would be, yeah, quemarse, to burn yourself. Ah, sí. Bien. But ponerse rojo means to get red in the face, yeah, to blush, yeah, all you get worked up for an embarrassing or cute reason or crush reason or I don't know, something, whatever. So blush, yeah, we have a term blush, and that's ponerse rojo. But that rojo is not an item of clothing, yeah, it's a description word. So the thing to remember is that with this specific verb, ponerse, this English idea of to get in a certain mood or a state is the idea behind using ponerse with a description. Okay. Ponerse as a reflexive with a description means to get yourself in a state, to get yourself worked up into some kind of state. So ponerse triste means to
Sad.
To be
get,
saddened.
Sad.
yeah, to get, or let's say become
Sad.
sad. Yeah. Bien. Okay. So ponerse nervioso, or maybe you need to change it if you're a lady to nerviosa, means to get
Nervous.
nervous. Yeah, to get jumpy, to get nervous. Ponerse molesto o ponerse molesta means to get
Bothered. Embarrassed. Bothered.
uh, annoyed.
Annoyed.
Yeah. That you get annoyed. Yeah. You're bothered by something. You're annoyed by something. Ponerse emocionado means to get
Emotional.
Emotional. Yeah.
excited.
Excited.
Yeah.
Excited.
Not emotional, because in English, to get emotional might mean somebody got
Sad.
all overwrought and they start screaming at you for something, right? To get emotional. Um, yeah, but emocionado is excited, right?
Excited.
Uh, estar emocionado is to be excited, but to get excited is ponerse emocionado. Atento, which means attentive, is to um, to get in a state or to become I want to say watchful, but that's
Attuned.
yeah, attentive. Yeah.
Dummied up.
Yeah, attentive. To notice something, to be attentive, meaning you're kind of watching, you're kind of hovering. Yeah. Bien. So, okay. Vale. Bueno, vamos a ver. Ponerse is one of the most useful or an often heard idea. Ejemplos. ejemplos. Let's build some ejemplos. Sí, me pongo nervioso o me pongo nerviosa cuando
When.
me pongo nervioso cuando
I drive.
when I drive. Yeah, ¿sí? Ok, cuando manejo. O cuando conduzco, depende. Yeah, you got those two verbs for drive. Conduzco, sí, o manejo. Manejo aquí en Latinoamérica es muy común. Manejo. Bien, me pongo nerviosa, me pongo nervioso cuando...
Cuando.
Me pongo nervioso cuando veo una serpiente cerca de la puerta.
Okay. Yeah.
Me pongo nerviosa cuando veo una serpiente, sí, cerca de la puerta. When I see a snake right next to my door,
Oh,
¿sí?
yeah.
Me pongo nerviosa, ¿sí? Bien.
Sí.
Bueno, otra idea, ¿no?
Yo voy el doctor.
Muy normal. Me pongo nerviosa cuando voy al doctor, cuando voy al médico, sí. Muy normal, muy normal. Me pongo nerviosa cuando doy un discurso, when I give a speech, ¿sí? Enfrente de un grupo, me pongo nerviosa, ¿sí? Normal, normal. Bien, vale. Bueno, ah, a ver, bien. So, aquí, triste, triste. Ah, mi pareja, whoever your partner is, mi pareja se pone triste. Uh, perdón. Se pone triste cuando my partner gets sad.
I'm not the.
Cuando, perdón, Tanita.
When I travel.
Yeah.
Oh, sí, adjetivo. We need, well, we have an
Oh.
adjective, triste.
Yeah.
When?
Cuando.
I've got one for both nervioso and triste. Me pongo triste cuando veo las noticias.
Oh, cuando veo las noticias, sí. Muy común. When I watch the news, when I look at the news, cuando vea las noticias, sí. Mi pareja se pone triste cuando ve, when she sees. Yo no, it's gotta be, sí. Mi pareja se pone triste cuando ve las noticias. Sí, bien, bien, perfecto. Vale, bien. Am, ah, ah, un niño se pone triste cuando, cuando mamá le quita su juguete favorito. Kid gets sad when mommy takes away his favorite toy, sí. Sí, un niño se pone triste cuando su mamá le quita su juguete favorito, ¿sí? Cuando su mamá. Bien. Ah, vale. Bueno, a ver. Otro ejemplo, otro ejemplo. Sí. Me pongo molesto. Me pongo molesta. Mm, Me pongo molesto cuando, cuando voy de compras,
Cuando,
cuando voy de compras, el Black Friday, Black Viernes, sí, el Black Friday. Sí, demasiada gente, too many people. Sí, eso, sí. Bien, ok. Sí, lógico, lógico. Ok, vale. Bueno, ah, uh, hay otro. Ok, vale, bien. So, ponerse is a great intro to ponerse means to put something on, but as a reflexive, this is one of those things if it doesn't fit the traditional idea of a reflexive verb of ponerse with putting something on your body. Ponerse, and the difference only is in the type of thing, the context of the whole sentence, the type of thing that follows that action of ponerse, right? When it's a descriptive thing, it means somebody becomes a certain way, they get into a certain mood, yeah. And so ponerse can take on many meanings. Bien, okay. There are other reflexives that are akin to this idea, ponerse, going into this idea of get. And the way it is akin to ponerse is that, momento, it will mean to get a certain way. Enojar is to anger, to cause anger. But enojarse is to get mad, to get mad, to get angry, right? Yeah, not mad in the sense of insanity, but to get mad. Okay. But in a way, it's sort of saying, I get myself in this state. I get angry. The get is it. A lot of different verbs that do use a se as a reflexive often mean you get yourself in a certain state. See? Okay. So, bien. Por ejemplo, sí. Mi suegra siempre se enoja. My mother-in-law always gets mad. Sí, algo así. Bien. Sí, bien. Also, as a command, often doesn't somebody say, oh, don't get mad, like to a family member? See? Nobody says, hey, get mad on purpose, but don't get mad. No te enojes.
no te enojes.
No te enojes. Don't get mad. That's a command. Yeah. It's like telling somebody, don't get yourself all worked up. Yeah. See? Como mandato. So, enojarse, to get mad. And I'm going to take these out for a moment. Un momentito. Didn't work. Momentito. Let's try this one more time. We're going to try to, it doesn't want to do it. Okay, bien. We'll have to move it down as we move along. As a matter of fact, I know why it won't happen, because I've got you guys on share. That's why. Momentito. We're going to do this the fast way. Perfecto. Claro. Okay. Mejor, better. I want you to show you kind of how all this stuff may morph and therefore cause confusion, but don't let it confuse you, right? Enojar by itself means just to anger, to cause anger, okay? Not to get mad, but something causes anger. Yeah, see? So you may hear something like, esto me enoja. And not esto me enojo. Esto me enojo, this I get mad. That doesn't make sense. But something like some situation makes you angry, right? Esto me enoja. This thing, this thing, whatever this thing is, whether it's bad traffic or fender bender on the road or lo que sea así. Me enoja. Enoja means this thing causes anger to me. Not that I get mad, right?
It makes
But
me angry.
yeah, something angers
Me.
me. See, me enoja. And you may say, wait a minute, why is that not me enojo? Me enojo is I get mad. Como, por ejemplo, me enojo cuando mis hijos no
No.
no limpian sus cuartos. I get mad when my kids don't clean their rooms. Okay? I get mad about that. And I get myself into a worked up state. But esto me enoja. This gets me mad. This causes anger in me. So when you see a pronoun that you do recognize like me, and it's not with a yo form, it doesn't have a yo form. It means that something else externally is causing the anger in me. Okay? And it is not the idea of me enojo.
Esto me
Sí, me enojo
enoja.
porque los hijos no limpian sus cuartos. Oh, limpian. Bien. ¿Sí? Bien. Cuartos. Wow. Perfecto. Okay. ¿Sí? Here, I am working myself into this state, but making that verb into something else means something else external caused this reaction in me. ¿Entienden? So a lot of times you're going to hear many types of verbs. It is common to hear these where it's used with a pronoun that you think is reflexive, and here the me is not reflexive. That kind of like isn't the point, because the point is it's doing something to me, and here the point is I'm getting myself into this worked up state. Yeah. See? Bien. Same thing with alegrar. Alegrar is to make happy. Yeah. Alegrarse is to get happy or feel happy. See? It can be external. See? Por ejemplo, por fin, finally, por fin, el clima me alegra. Finally, the weather, it's making me happy. Yeah. And that's not reflexive, even though it's got me, what you recognize as a reflexive, it's not reflexive because me alegra doesn't have that pairing up of me with a yo form. I don't have a yo form, alegro. I have an it form, alegra. Por fin, el clima me alegra. See? Something else externally is making me happy. ¿Sí? Pero me alegro Me alegro de verte. I'm happy to see you. I worked myself up in this state. Me alegro. Me alegro. Me alegro de verte. I'm happy to see you. Okay? Here, me alegro is reflexive. I do have a yo form matched up with the me reflexive pronoun. Me alegro. ¿Sí? Bien. Vale. Bueno. But lots of other, hay otros ejemplos. Hay otros ejemplos. There are other examples. ¿Sí? Cansar versus cansarse. Cansar means to tire. ¿Sí? Bien. Por ejemplo, not reflexive is an example of, la caminata, the hike. La caminata me cansa. La caminata me cansa. This hike is making me,
Exhausted.
yeah, it's wiping me out, right? La caminata me cansa. It tires me out. It tires me out. And I don't have me canso, but I might have me canso. And when it is truly reflexive with a me canso, me canso, me canso cuando camino más de 7 millas. Me canso cuando camino más de 7 millas. I get tired. I get tired when I walk more than 7 miles. ¿Entiende? ¿Sí? But now I'm working myself into this state, yeah? And so what's the difference between these two? What's the difference? Well, the difference is in the first one that's not reflexive, something exterior outside of myself is making me feel a certain way. Yeah, see? And it's a difference of emphasis. Something else is causing this reaction in me. And here the
Correct.
shift or the emphasis is I get into this state because something happened. See?
Right.
I get myself in this state. Okay. So I guess an important takeaway about some of these reflexives versus non-reflexives is that if you realize that that core word, that core idea of the verb is cansar, to tire, to get somebody feeling into a state of exhaustion, right? That's the main idea being conveyed. Yeah. And know that if it's reflexive, it means I am getting into this state. Right?
So Marilyn,
Or I feel this way. See.
So reflexive only means if the action is being done to that person. So I'm doing something to myself. You're
Right.
doing something to yourself. He, she, they, we are doing something to ourselves. That is the only time it's considered reflexive. And these other times
It could be a nosotros too. Let's look at the cansar. Okay. Bien. Un ejemplo aquí. Nos cansamos. Nos cansamos. We get tired. We get tired. Al oír los políticos hablando. We get tired hearing politicians talk. Yeah. We get tired of listening to these guys. And here it's not an it's just an example of we're taking cansar into a different person, but it might be, sí. Nos cansamos al oír los políticos hablando. We get tired when this thing happens, sí. Bien. Otro ejemplo. Hay otro ejemplo aquí. Mi pobre papá, poor dad. Mi pobre papá se cansa ah, u- después de trabajar 10 horas. My dad gets tired after working a 10-hour shift. See?
Yep.
Mi padre se cansa, right? I could have said, well, the day tired him out or the work tired him out, but I said, oh, dad gets tired. Dad gets tired. Mi pobre papá se cansa después de trabajar 10 horas. ¿Sí? ¿Es mejor? Better? ¿Sí? Shows you how it shifts to different people. ¿Sí?
Mhm.
It won't necessarily be just yo. Yeah. This can work for talking about other people too. ¿Sí?
Got it.
Una pregunta muy fácil sería, por ejemplo, sí, ¿cuándo, cuándo te cansas? When do you get tired? ¿Sí? ¿Cuándo te cansas? ¿Sí? O, sí, bien. So, these kinds of reflexives are kind of, cansar and cansarse. You may hear them. The point is, you may hear these used reflexively or not. And the not becomes an external thing, object or activity or action or state that affects somebody. But when you say somebody gets themselves into a certain state, yeah, then it becomes a reflexive, right? Because the shift becomes that person gets into a certain mood or, certain feeling. See, animar means to cheer. Yeah, animate. Yeah, kind of that idea. Animarse is to get pumped up, to get excited again. Yeah. Me animo, me animo. Me animo al ver el partido de fútbol americano. Yeah. I get all pumped up watching a game. Bien. Vale. Preocupar versus preocuparse. Preocuparse. See, preocupar means to worry. To worry. If it's not reflexive, you could say something like, mi hija me preocupa. Mi hija me preocupa. My daughter worries me. How she is or what she's doing, it causes worry to me. That's not reflexive, yeah? Or, sí, la economía, por ejemplo, me preocupa. The economy worries me. This big, this big thing I can't control, la economía, the economy, causes worry to me. But if I want to say I get worried, it's just me preocupo. Me preocupo, okay? Mi mamá se preocupa. My mom gets worried. ¿Sí? Mi mamá se preocupa cuando manejo en la autopista. My mom gets worried when I drive on the highway.
Mhm.
Okay? Teenager talking about his mom,
Right.
the new driver. Yeah. See, mi mamá se preocupa. She gets worked up. She gets herself all worried. See, se preocupa. Bien. So this is the person getting themselves into this state of being the worrywart. ¿Sí? Aquí. Y muy común. Wow, this one is super, super common.
Gary.
Asustar. Asustar means to frighten. There are lots of ways to say that action of scaring or frightening. There are lots of ways, right? Tengo miedo, I am scared. I have fear, literally. But asustar means something scares you, okay? Something scares you. So not reflexive, it's something like this. Por ejemplo, muy común, las arañas me asustan. Las arañas me asustan. Spiders scare me. Spiders, just being that critter, yeah, they cause fright, they cause fear in me. Las arañas me asustan. And the focus here is that type of critter, that group of critters is the thing that's causing this emotional reaction. And it's causing it in me. I could just as easily change this to las arañas nos asustan, they scare us. Okay, see? Bien? But, see, me asusto es I get scared. See? I get myself in this state when I make it reflexive, me, with a yo form, me asusto. Me asusto cuando hay una tormenta, when there is a storm. Por ejemplo, ¿sí? No me asusto nunca. I never get scared. Así. ¿Bien? ¿Ok? ¿Sí? Little primer on some reflexives. Lots of times when we get into a state, fear, sadness, happiness, worry, right? They might become what we call reflexive. So these are the ones you might not expect. Yeah. Sometimes reflexives are things you don't expect because they're not this traditional thing of get up, wake up, sit down, all those kind of traditional reflexive ideas. See? Bien? Vale? It is also good to know about reflexives. Some verbs just are. Some verbs just are reflexive, and there really isn't a good explanation for why they are. A particular turn of phrase may just use a reflexive, and it's kind of not worth going through the mental gymnastics of is somebody doing something to themselves, but to just accept, it's a reflexive verb. And one of the biggest things is darse cuenta. Darse cuenta de. To give oneself an account of. No, that is to give, right? That is to give. And to give oneself an account of makes like, I don't know what they mean by that. Okay. So with darse cuenta de, here's the part that is always constant, that is unchanging, the cuenta de, cuenta. It'll always be cuenta. No matter who does it, no matter if it's now or last week, it's always cuenta and it's always a de. This is just a turn of phrase. Darse cuenta de means to realize. Yeah. I mean, boom, dawns on you. And usually you're going to hear this in the past. It's just more frequent to hear it in the past, which means it's going to have a strange twist with that dar part because dar is very, very irregular in the past. So to say, I didn't realize, yeah. What's the most common thing to say? Oh, I didn't realize that, right? Oh, I didn't realize that. No me di cuenta de eso. Yeah, sí, bien. No me di cuenta de eso. So, you'll hear something that you wouldn't think, well, what is that? Oh, D is also a command, I know, but here it's a past form of dar also. Yeah. Pretérito, the past, the preterite form of dar for yo is di, right? Di, diste, dio, dimos. So, this particular idea is often expressed as a past idea often. So that's the way you will typically hear it most often. Uh, they didn't realize it. They didn't realize, no se dieron cuenta de whatever, right? They didn't realize. They didn't realize. No se dieron cuenta. See? Bien. So some things just are reflexive and there isn't maybe necessarily a fabulous reason for it, but they just happen to be reflexive verbs. And that can be kind of a stumbling block. You just need to sort of notice when it's used and just pay attention. Otro ejemplo. Another good example of that. Momentito. Fijarse. Fijarse is to notice. Yeah. Fijar means to fix on something, like attached to it, grab it. And if it's attached, if it's grabbing your attention, yeah. Fijarse. Fijarse is to notice, and this is often used as a command. Kind of the idea of, "Ooh, pay attention to that." Uh, Notice this. Pay attention. That kind of thing. You know, you're on a tour and the tour guide thinks, oh, they may see this, but not realize how important it is. And they go, hey, pay attention to that. It'll come out as this kind of a command. A ver, uy, ¿qué pasó? Bien. Fíjense. Fíjense, look at that. Instead of just miren, look at that. Fíjense, pay attention to that. Notice that. Uh, Look at it and think about it. Fíjense, to notice. Not only are you looking at something, but you're looking at it and you're thinking about it. Yeah. Fíjense, pay attention to that. See? Fíjense, fíjense el letrero. Pay attention to that sign, meaning you better read it. See? Fíjense, see? Fijarse is to notice, to pay attention to something. Ooh, pay attention. Ok. Bien, bien. Ok, vale. Bueno. ¿Hay otra pregunta o hay alguna pregunta? Is there any kind of a question about reflexives? Does that help a little bit? Sometimes they'll be what you expect. You do the action, it comes back to you. Sometimes they'll be quite often to get yourself into a certain state, or just some verbs just are reflexive. That's the way it is. Eso es. Okay.
Marilyn, what happens if like you do something to someone else or vice versa? Like I brush your hair. Is that still considered reflexive or is that not
Oh,
reflexive?
you brush somebody else's hair.
Right.
Like you go to the hairdresser.
Or just I brush like
You
if
brush
I
your
was
kids' hair, maybe, yeah?
correct, right.
Yeah, see. Okay. Then it's not reflexive anymore. Aha. And this happens a lot with that idea of brushing hair, or you watch the old Western movies and the cowboy walks into the barber to get a shave. Afeitarse is to shave yourself, But if somebody else is shaving you because you're sitting in a barber chair, it's just afeitar. So, sí, I'm brushing my kids' hair. Uh, peino, peino a mis hijas. Or I'm combing in this case, yeah. I'm combing. Uy.
You don't have to have hair in there, or pelo means I'm brushing. Where's
Yeah, cepillarse, also cepillarse is to brush, right? Peinarse is to comb, somebody's hair. And somebody may use one or the other, depending on like what they're using. If they have a comb, they use peinarse. If they've got a brush, they'll use cepillarse. Yeah, depends on which tool they've got in their hands.
so you don't have to put el pelo in there? Hair,
Uh, no, that's
no?
the only thing you'd be combing. That it's kind of understood. Yeah, it just yeah. Uh, Peno, sí. Peno a mis hijas. I'm combing out their hair, and you don't really even have to do the hair thing, because penar means that's the thing we're working on. Yeah, it's good enough. See,
I comb kids.
cepillo would be the same thing. Cepillo a mis hijas. See, I'm combing out my daughter's hair. Same, brushing it out. Same thing. Different little styling tool. That's all. See. Bien. Sí. Kind of like the idea of a brush out or a comb out. Somebody knows you're talking about hair. Yeah. It's kind of that same thing. Okay. Buena pregunta. Good question. Otra pregunta. Any other question? ¿Sí o no? ¿No? ¿Nada? ¿Nada?
So te cepelo el pelo, if I'm saying that right. Like I brush your hair. That is not reflexive because like I'm
Oh,
not doing it
I'm
myself.
brushing your hair?
Yeah.
Ah, te cepillo. And you could use el pelo or not. ¿Sí?
So is that
Te cepillo.
considered? That's not considered reflexive.
It's not reflexive because I'm doing the cepillar. I'm doing it, and I'm doing it to you.
Got
Yeah. Yeah. Like the kids are waiting. You're getting the kids ready for you're taking them to a holiday show, and you can only do one kid at a time. And come on over here. Te cepillo, te cepillo. I'll come on over here and I'll work on you. I will brush your hair out for ahora te cepillo. Bien, ven aquí. Come on over here. Te cepillo, te cepillo. I'll brush out your hair. I'll brush out your hair. Te cepillo. Sí. And it's no longer reflexive because I am not doing it to myself, yeah, with my bad hair, but I'm doing it to somebody else's hair. Sí. Bien. Ok. Bien.
Bien.
Bastante bien. Ok. Vale. Good enough. Good enough. We've got our little, sí, our
Is
little
that for
review.
dogs too?
Oh, perdón?
Would that be for dogs too? That
Oh, sí. Yeah, for dogs, sure, because people brush their pets. Absolutely. Absolutamente. Sí. Exacto. Exacto. Lo cepillo, I brush him. Yeah. Or la cepillo if she's a girl doggy. Yeah. Sí.
yeah.
La cepillo, I brush her. Sí. Bien. Ok. Fantástico. Bien. We are going to take, see, we're going to take one more little topic because this is another topic somebody requested that we work on. And I want to do this before we start maybe a new set of topics for next week. But Another burning question came up of, I need a review on porampara. Porampara. Porampara, those are nasty. Why is porampara hard? ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué es difícil? Because we think of porampara as for, yeah, and that is what that's what messes us up because both por and para are really kind of more than the idea of for. Um, and you look, it's the first word that comes up when you look it up in a dictionary, right? But por in particular has many, many meanings. Yeah. And para has many meanings. We need to look at more of the situations in which we use them, okay? But we're going to start from a little different perspective because this is something that you will just hear a lot, and there maybe isn't a reason for it, or even if there is a reason for using por or using para, the idea is some of these things are expressions that are just set up this way. And they just are. They just are. So don't think about why are we using por versus why are we using para. But these are some things that just kind of, you have to just know it. And you just know it from hearing it as a chunk. Yeah. Memorizing it as a chunk. Certain phrases, there are times, and we'll get into this a little bit next week. There are ways to know about whether por or para is more appropriate. There are ways, but those require kind of a set of steps. So we'll take a look at that next week. What I want you to think about right now is that sometimes in certain set kinds of phrases, you'll just hear por and you just get used to it, or you'll just hear para and you'll just get used to it. Ok. Bien. Por ejemplo, sí, día por día, por día, por día, por día, day by day by day. You're talking about a sequence of things, yeah? See? Día, por ejemplo, when Agustina was talking about renting a car per day, por día, ¿sí? El costo de alquilar de alquilar por día un carro, the cost of renting a car per day, ¿sí? Por día, okay? This is kind of just a set phrase, por Dios, por Dios. It doesn't really mean for God. See, por Dios is just an expression, you're shocked by something, you're surprised by something. It expresses just surprise. Yeah, see, ay, por Dios, por Dios. Okay, por Dios, there's no reason for it. It's just por Dios. You're surprised by something, you're shocked by something. See? Palabra por palabra, word by word by word. Por here, in a way, you can think of it as the idea of by. Yeah? See? Día por día, palabra por palabra. Palabra por palabra, word by word by word. See? No traduzcan palabra por palabra. Don't translate word for word for word. See? Por ahora means for right now. Por ahora. See? Por ahora. And you'll never hear it as para ahora. Well, should I say never? I shouldn't say never, but por ahora. For now. See? Por aquí. This is like a gold word. Ooh, we're going to underline and bold that one. Por aquí and por allí. You'll always hear that. This is a biggie. This is a big one to know by heart, by heart. Super important one. Por aquí, por allí, or you may hear it as por acá. Some people use the word idea of here as acá. Some people use the idea of here as aquí. So it kind of doesn't matter. That's just a regional variation. Por aquí, por acá. Or por allí, por allá. See, por aquí, around here. Around here. Yeah. Meaning in this area, in this surrounding. Por aquí. See? Ponlo, put it, ponlo, ponlo por aquí. Put it around here somewhere. Set it down here. See? Ponlo por aquí. Okay? Bien. And then the allí just tells you it's further off, right?
Mhm.
The aquí tells you it's close by. See? Por ciento is just a phrase. Sí, por ciento, percent. Yeah. It'll never be para ciento. That is a definite never. Por ciento, percent. Por cierto is our phrase, by the way. Somebody's kind of changing the subject a little bit. Yeah. Por cierto looks like for sure, or maybe you might guess, but it doesn't mean for sure. Well, it kind of means for sure, but by the way really is a better way. We're going to take that into indeed. By the way, see? Por cierto, por cierto. Por completo, completely or totally, see? Por correo by mail. If you send something by shipping it, sí, por correo, sí, por correo. Por lo visto, apparently. But, these are actually this one, if you ship something a certain way, that could be kind of important, see? Yeah. But certain phrases we'll use por mi culpa, my fault. Por mi culpa literally means because of my fault. Por mi culpa, por mi culpa. Por ejemplo, we always use por ejemplo, and it's never para ejemplo. This one is gold, it's gold. We're going to put it in great big bold. It is gold. Por ejemplo. Por ejemplo, you hear all the time, it'll never be para. See? Por eso, therefore, right? Por fin, finally. Por fin. Por fin, you will hear a lot. I would put that in the gold category. I would even put this one in a gold category. I would put it in gold, except if you print it out, it'll never show up on printing paper. Yeah. Por ejemplo, por eso, por fin. Importantes, son importantes. So we're looking here at things that typically use por phrases that typically will just use por, and you shouldn't think about the why of it. You just do it. Por dentro or por fuera. Kind of like the por aquí, por allí, kind of akin to the idea of por aquí and por allí. Yeah, if you mean
Inside,
on
outside.
the inside, yeah, por dentro, por dentro. On the inside,
Fuera.
see? Por fuera, on the outside, yeah? So por is often used with some of these location kinds of descriptive words, yeah? Descriptive words that talk about locations. Por dentro, por fuera, see? All of these three, frequently when we use these phrases of in the morning, in the afternoon, at night. And notice we don't say English in the night, do we? No, unless you're like in some poetic sort of phrasing, yeah? Why in English does it change to at night? Ni idea. I got no idea. But por la mañana, por la tarde, por la noche. You may hear en la mañana, en la tarde, en la noche. That doesn't mean that's wrong. It's just a regional use. But por la mañana, por la tarde, por la noche, especially when we're giving a time of day. Yeah. Voy a mi cita, voy a mi cita a las 10 por la mañana. I go to my appointment at 10 in the morning. So, especially when we're talking about a time of attaching it to a time of day, right? You'll hear the por la mañana, por la tarde, por la noche, ¿sí? Ideas also like por lo general, generally, por lo menos, at least, yeah? use por. Lots and lots, notice lots and lots of phrases use por. Por si acaso, you hear quite a lot, means just in case. Por si acaso, es frecuente, ¿sí? Toma un paraguas por si acaso. Take along with you, yeah? Toma un paraguas. Toma un paraguas. Take along an umbrella, just in case. Por si acaso. Por si acaso. Por si acaso, those words always hang together to say just in case. See? Por suerte. Por suerte, fortunately, meaning on account of luck. Fortunately, por suerte. See? Por suerte. Por suerte no va a llover el día del partido. Por suerte no va a llover. Luckily, it's not going to rain. Fortunately, it is not going to rain. Por suerte. No va a llover el día del partido. It's not going to rain on game day. Yeah? Por supuesto, of course, por supuesto. See? And here's a big one, and I'm going to put this in gold because people get this one wrong, right? You don't get por ejemplo wrong very much, do you?
No.
But this one people get wrong quite a lot. And you shouldn't ever. If you are thanking somebody for something, it's always gracias por, thanks for. It will never, never be, well, no, I can't say never. Thank you for something. Gracias por el regalo. Thanks for the gift. See? Gracias por tu ayuda. Thanks for your help. ¿Sí? Gracias por decirme. Thanks for telling me. Gracias por, right? When you thank somebody, you're doing you're giving a verbal exchange for something. Yeah. And por always tells an exchange. All right. Gracias por decirme. Thanks for telling me. Is even though you're not receiving something physical, it's still thanks for that information. See? Gracias por la información. Gracias por. When you tell what you're thankful for, it's gracias por, gracias por. So there are tons and tons of maybe sometimes no real reason for por expressions, but some expressions just use por. And we're going to finish up with maybe a shorter group because para gets a shorter group of, let's say, maybe set phrases. Yeah. Expressions with para. And this is the one that I'm really going to, para mí. Yeah. See? Por mí. Por mí, you may hear somebody utter the phrase por mí, but then it means because of me, meaning I caused something. Para mí means for me. And para mí might mean you're giving an opinion. It might mean you're ordering something in a restaurant. So para mí is actually an important phrase to know by heart. Para mí, for me giving an opinion and or to order something. See? So if I am ordering something, let's say I want a drink. See? Para mí vino, para mí una copa de vino tinto. For me, a glass of red wine. Para mí, ¿sí? Una copa de vino tinto. You might, and you don't even need a whole sentence to order using this phrase. See? Para mí, un café con leche, por favor. For me, some coffee with milk, please. See? Para mí, un café con leche, por favor. See? Para mí means often you're ordering something for yourself. It might say that you're giving an opinion on something. Okay, un ejemplo, an example of this. Para mí, para mí, para mí, ir al espectáculo de carros no es interesante. For me, the car show isn't very interesting. If you're not a car fan, if you're not enthusiast of cars, ¿sí? Ah, para mí, una visita al zoológico no es interesante. For me, a trip to the zoo isn't so interesting if you're not into the animal thing. See? Para mí is telling somebody that you have an opinion about something, right? You have an opinion or you're ordering something. Para mí. But you hear para mí quite a lot. See? Para qué is, I would say, maybe one level lower. This is more, you got to have a sentence structure to use para qué. Para mí can be plugged into lots of ideas. Here is how you may hear para qué, and it'll always be para qué, right? Te digo, te digo esto para que sepas. I'm telling this, I'm
Just so
telling you
you know.
this just so you know.
Just so you know.
Para que sepas. Para que will always be followed. Ooh, para que will always be followed by a funky, weird-looking verb form. Para que. And it's got to be para with que. Yeah? Para que with this funky verb form means it's a subjunctive. I am telling this so that you may know. Because you don't know now for a fact. But that you'll benefit if you actually listen to me, yeah, para que sepas, ¿sí? Te digo esta para que puedas, ¿sí? I'm telling this to you so that you can, so that you might be able to do something, right? Para que. Sometimes you hear para just with a verb that's not conjugated, but para que means so that something may happen. And that something action is not a definite, really happening in reality right now action. Okay? So, para qué? Para qué, para qué? Okay, we're going to finish up our last things of expressions with para. Para nada. Para nada is a super negative ID. Para nada. Para nada is not at all. Literally for nothing. For nothing, right? And often it's paired up with no me gusta, or no nos gusta, or no le gusta, or no te gusta. See? No te gusta para nada. You don't like something at all. No me gusta para nada. I don't like something at all. So if your reaction to having a certain type of dish is that you don't like it, and like you'll never order that thing again, man, that was a waste of money. No me gusta para nada este plato. I don't like this dish at all. No me gusta para nada. ¿Sí? Bien. Ok. Y por fin, aquí dos más, para siempre, para siempre. For always. For always, meaning forever, yeah? Para siempre, ¿sí? Te amo para siempre. I love you forever. Te amo para siempre. Para siempre, para siempre. You may also hear para paired up with an infinitive, right? Like empezar. Para empezar, for starters. And this para empezar is a specific one that people often use in a restaurant. Para empezar, whatever you're going to start off your meal with,
Right.
yeah, whatever is going to be your first thing, see? Para empezar, bebidas, see? To start with drinks, all right? Okay, or if you're starting with an appetizer, whatever it might be, see? Para empezar, to start off with, see? Bien? Okay? Bien? And we'll do a little bit more of por en para next week, but more in depth. This was the idea because it is shorter to convey. Some phrases just use one por or the other para, and they just do. But
Okay.
we'll look at the other cases when it's not that clear next week. Okay? ¿Sí? ¿Bien?
Okay.
Sí,
Good.
bien.
Vale. Perfecto. You're going to get a listening video. I have not decided on it yet because a whole bunch come out Sunday going into Monday, and I was me dolía todo. Everything hurt me this morning, so I did not pick the video yet. I need to do that yet today. I've got about 4 or 5 videos to listen to see which one is the best one for you guys for the coming week.
Okay.
¿Todo bien? All good?
All
Sí,
good.
todo bien. Gracias.
Todo
Yes.
Gracias.
Goodbye.
Perfecto. Muy bien.
Nos
Bueno,
Luego.
y nos vemos, sí, nos vemos
No.
la semana que viene.